Hello and welcome. My name is Carlisle Amlak, and I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner and teacher with the Maha Vidya School of Yoga and Ayurveda. Today, we're going to talk about sense therapy because we often put such an emphasis through the Ayurvedic teachings on diet, but we need to understand that the diet and the intake isn't just surrounding rasa or taste, and that we've got four other senses that are equally as important in our experience to ultimately affect the mind and the digestive system and its functioning. And you'll understand why as we go a little bit deeper. So I've got some slides I can share with you here on the five senses. And this is really a more holistic approach to both diet and lifestyle. And so for those of you that are new to Ayurveda, this is a really simple way you can start considering your home environment, what you're taking in through the five senses, as a way to create ultimate healing. And it's very subtle. And so it's something you can share with children. It's something you can consider for yourself. And those of you that are studying with us in the professional training program and mentorship, this is going to be one way that we can really start to work with clients simply. It's non-aggressive. You're not taking anything away from them, but you're just adding a new layer of understanding to what's happening in their home environment. So what we can look at here is that we are what we eat, we know, but we're also what we eat through our eyes to our feet, meaning touch. So we're tasting, we're touching, we're seeing, we're smelling, and we're hearing everything in our environment. And the five senses really form the doorways that connect us with the universe. And so when we talk about what the primordial cause of disease is, or this like root cause, it's forgetting our true nature as spirit. But what that really means is forgetting that we're a part of nature itself. And if you dig a little bit deeper, one of the main three causes of disease is misuse of the five senses. The second one is time. And the third is failure of the intellect. And so that failure of the intellect is really us not listening to what the senses need to find balance. So the way we can use the five senses, we've studied a lot about taste. We've got articles on it on the blog. Those of you that have studied with us, you know a lot about the qualities of food, what's good for the seasons, what's happening with the five tastes, sweet or six tastes, sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. The energy of food, is it warming or cooling, and the post-digestive effect. But there's a lot more that's going into our experience of eating both food and intake through the senses from the natural world. So we've got our sense of touch, and ways that we can affect touch is not only through body therapies, but we can consider the comfort of the clothing we're wearing, our natural environment. Is your furniture comfortable? Is it creating a good environment for you to sleep? Do you have loving touch in your relationships or with yourself? And so these are all qualities of touch we can begin considering. We've got our channel of sight. So are you looking at natural landscapes? How is the lighting in your home? Are you using color therapy? You can see the background here. We've got our home with very just kind of simple natural hues, light tones, things that aren't too aggressive to the eye. Also considering what you're seeing through electronic use. Are you watching TV and watching things that the sensory input is violent, or is it calming? These are all ways you can begin to really fine tune what's happening in the mind through visual or sight therapy. We've got our sense of smell, which is strong. It connects us a lot to emotions and memories. So we can use aromatherapy. You smell food and you definitely have an experience. You can use essential oils, incense, soaps, candles, flowers. All of these things can add a nice layer to what's happening. As many of you know, it's springtime here in Maine, and we're starting to smell things like the grass is waking up, flowers will begin blooming. There's a definite feeling associated through the sense of sight and smell. And sound, moving on to the birds chirping, nature sounds. You can use music therapy. We also want to consider the quality of speech. So are you speaking in the positive? Are you speaking with a soft tone? Is there any sort of aggression in the home or work environment through sound? And silence is one of the best ways to fix this. So finding time in nature. We can take this a little bit further by starting to understand these qualities per dosha. So Rasa, or the sense of taste, is related to the water element. We know that Vata is pacified by sweet, sour, and salty tastes, Pitta by sweet, bitter, and astringent tastes, and Kapha by pungent, bitter, and astringent tastes. So these are things to consider if you're working with a healthcare practitioner in the realm of Ayurveda. They can work with you specifically on diet and herbs, but it's something you can start to think about for you, your family. We've got lots of recipes on the website to support this area. And as the students start working with clients, reach out. We've got a lot of budding practitioners that are ready to start talking to you about these areas. As I mentioned, touch therapy, it's related to the air quality or element, and we can use body therapies. You could do things like self-oil massage, steaming, therapeutic massage. We teach a Marma program. You could get a facial or give yourself a facial, foot bath. Asana or exercise practices also connect you to the sense of touch. Those of you that are asana practitioners, you know you're very tuned into the qualities of the body and what's happening within that. You can give loving touch to yourself or others. So self-oil massage is a great practice of self-love. You can walk by people in your home and give them a hug, or in the office space, just being kind and offering a high quality, gentle touch is very nice. The quality and texture of the clothing, as I discussed, is important. Natural fabrics, natural textiles in your home. And then being in nature, I find myself kind of touching the plants as I walk by, or playing with blades of grass. All of these things add that quality to your life. If we look at it a little bit more specifically for each dosha, you could see that Vata really benefits from soft, warm, sweet touch, warm oil massage and steams, soft clothing and environments in general. So warm, humid, away from wind. Pitta responds well to soft, cooling, sweet touch. So oil massages with cooling, fragrant herbs, flowers. Pitta is associated with the scent or a more foul smell in general in the sweat channels. So fragrant flowers are nice. Shorter steams, they don't want to get too hot. Soft clothing and furniture, cool breezes, moonlit walks, and a gentle environment. Where Kapha, on the other hand, responds really well to dry, warm, harder touch. So therapeutic deep tissue massages, more stimulating dry brushing. Warm, moisture wicking clothing. So wool might be nice for them in the winter time to kind of pull away any of the moisture from the skin. A warm, dry environment and away from humidity is going to be important for Kapha. So we call our eyes the seat of the soul, and visual impressions stimulate reactions through the other senses. Our sense of sight is triggering to the mind more than any other sense. And I have a fun little experiment for you if you haven't done this with us before, but sometime you can do this with your family or a friend. You're going to want to blindfold yourself and have someone feed you a dish, a meal, and you want it to be safe to eat, not burning hot. Not too complicated. We usually do this experiment with a thicker kitchery. So something that is more at room temperature. We don't want people to get burned, but to have the experience. And what you'll notice is first, what we want you to do is to receive the plate of food. You'll be blindfolded and you'll smell it first. And you'll have an experience. And maybe the mind will start to go in and guess what's happening. And then you're going to touch the food. And yes, this is a messy experiment. And then you're going to taste the food. And then we want you to see the food. And you're going to notice how strong the sense of sight is. And it's one of the reasons when we finish an asana practice, as we guide people up to a seated position, I always say, keep your eyes closed, because they can hold their state quite well with the eyes closed. But as soon as they open the eyes, boom, they're back into the visual impressions of the world. So how we can think about this for each dosha is that for Vata, warm, soft lighting, minimal screen time, warm earth tones like golds, oranges, reds, or even calming tones like these, like richer blues, more earthy blues in nature. Looking at water, plant life, mountains, the earth element, all of those things balance Vata, and you can start to think about the quality and colors in your home environment. So what colors do you paint the walls, or is the wallpaper? What colors are the tendencies that you wear for clothing. You can start to use these elements to really find balance so that you're seeing visually more things that will balance you, or you can consider this for your family members also. For Pitta, cool, soft lighting, pastels, cool colors like blues, purples. Again, watching the water, soft trees, shadows, moonlight, and minimizing screen times. And they should really minimize how much they're out in the bright sun or using the fire element. So not staring at a fire. If they're doing a fire puja, it would be better to actually stare off into the sky and do some stargazing than fire gazing. For kapha, warm, strong lighting is better. Bold colors, they can use more stimulating or fiery colors like reds, oranges, dark, bright shades of green. Fire, star, candle gazing are all really wonderful. Views of desert lands and brightly colored flowers. So anything kind of stimulating is going to be good for kapha dosha. And the sense of smell is related to the earth. We can use aromatherapy quite easily throughout the home and work environment. And so it's something that we do recommend that you start playing with. You can see the pictures of those lilacs, and during lilac season in early June here in Maine, the whole property is just bursting with that beautiful smell. It's something I wish I could capture in its full essence. We do try with some oils and it's there, but not quite as strong. It's such a lovely spring smell. Aromatherapy per dosha for Vata is going to be more warming, grounding, soft spices like sandalwood, vetiver, cinnamon, wintergreen. Rose is really soft and calming, along with garden scents and homemade meals. So warm, spiced food is really nice for Vata to smell also. Calming scents for Pitta. And as I mentioned, floral scents like rose, jasmine, sandalwood, lavender, lemongrass, peppermint. A lot of the herbs we find in the garden, as well as the sea breeze or mountain air. So cooling, relaxing, calming scents are going to be really nice. There's lots to choose from if you use essential oils or have a garden. And for kapha, a little bit more stimulating, warmed, light scents like cedar, patchouli, grapefruit is fantastic for kapha dosha, pine, mint, cinnamon, nutmeg. And spice teas are things that actually make you feel like you're salivating and getting ready to feel hungry and eat, lightening the body up. Sound therapy, we can consider through our home and work life. Again, you can think about this through music. You can think, how does it make you feel if you walk into a place and there's like a background droning noise of the television all the time? Or if you go into an area where there's lots of sound stimulation, it can be a little bit aggressive, the volume also. So it's nice. I recommend sometimes for clients to put music on so that when they walk into the home, there's the sound of like flute music or something that's really calming to their system, and it immediately shifts you. And so it's something to think about. But again, one of the best ways to reset this channel in particular is through silence and sound fasting. And so we do offer occasionally a silent meditation retreat. If it's something that interests you, reach out. It's an unbelievable experience to take that time, be in nature, not talk, not really listen to the chatter, and really have the space to dive in. It's one of the most profound experiences you can give yourself. So whether you do it under our guidance or yourself, go for it sometime, or give a day, even a day of sound fasting. Sound therapy through each dosha is something really fun to play with. So for Vata, it's going to be soft grounding sounds, kind of new agey music, smooth jazz, classical music, roots reggae, classic rock, really gentle tribal drumming, nature sounds, ocean sounds, river sounds, anything that's kind of smooth and grounding and slow. It's going to be really nice for Vata. For Pitta, that's kind of coolness moves on with smooth jazz, again, roots reggae, new age, classical, gentle drumming, alternative music, ocean sounds, river sounds, rocks with water, soft children sounds, and birds chirping in the springtime. And for kapha, it's going to be music that makes you want to get up and go. And so we're looking at stimulating upbeat music, fast-paced music, reggae, dancehall, rock, rap, heavy metal, more wildlife sounds like howling wolves, louder birds, things that are bringing a little bit more enthusiasm and movement and joy to the system. So you're really looking at something, again, that makes you want to move. And you can consider these qualities just in general. So we, of course, have our own constitution, but then you can think about seasonal effects or just the cycle of a dosha through the day and how you can play with these qualities in time. So for instance, we get back from Puerto Rico to Maine. It's been kind of dreary and gray here for a couple of days. And it's definitely fun to put some louder music on, something more stimulating, or listening to in the car, kind of bopping along, breaking through that Kaphic stagnation. So play with this, see what happens when you shift music genres, or if you've got kids or a partner or a friend that gets stuck, see if you can, shift the mood a little bit through sound therapy. It's quite fun. So we're really looking at creating a healing home environment through sense therapy. If you're working with our practitioners that have gone through the professional program, what you'll see that they do is go with you kind of step by step through this process. It's something I do with clients also. And it really helps to appreciate, have the experience. It's something that we forget about sometimes. And so really give yourself space to kind of think, oh yeah, what am I seeing right now? What am I hearing right now? What's making me feel good? And it's going to be unique and different for each one of you. In our daily lifestyle regimens or dinacharya that we recommend through Ayurveda, this is another way to work with the channels of the five senses. And so for taste, we do tongue scraping every day. We do self-oil massage every day for touch therapy. It's nice, especially during Pitta season, to do an eye wash with rose water. We frequently do this in the summertime, especially when we've been working out in the garden all day. If you're prone to any allergies or itchy eyes, that's something that's really nice that we can guide you through if you need some support with that. Doing neti or nasya allows gentle cleansing of the nasal passages so that you can smell things clearly for your aromatherapy. And application of oil to the ear is also very soothing for the ear. It cuts out any excess wax and dryness and keeps the ear channel or hearing channel very clear for time to come. So I hope this presentation was helpful for you. We are excited to continue sharing both professionally and independently with clients. And so if this is an area that you feel like your life might benefit from, reach out and have a great day. All right, lots of love. Thank you.